Hi, it's Hills from the Blue Flame Apothecary. It came through for me that it would serve the community for me to tell a little bit of the story of how the blue flame came into my life and how the apothecary kind of formed through that and is currently forming, will always be forming. A couple of years ago, I guess it would have been probably around December 2020, so right around the time of the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction and that solstice. I was doing some randomness on my phone, sitting watching TV, and I went into some starseed something or other. I can't even fully remember. I think it was Sorcy Claire, I think is her name. I may be mispronouncing that. But there was this piece of information. Everything else was kind of whatever, but this one piece clicked for me, and it was a message to begin working with the blue flame. It was actually the purple blue flame each night before you go to sleep, because you do a lot of work in your sleep, which is very true for me. I am a very vivid and active dreamer who has had many, many, many dreams that have come true in one way or another. I'm very active in the astral plane and the causal plane for that matter. I didn't know purple blue flame. I knew the violet flame. It's alchemical energy that was anchored onto the earth plane etherically to help us clear our astral bodies. It was something that I've worked with quite a bit. So not knowing what the purple blue flame was, I was like, well, I'll cleanse my field with the violet flame, and then I'll pull the blue flame in the same way that I worked with the violet flame. So I started doing that as part of my bedtime prayer ritual. And I won't go into that whole thing. What I do is I'm preparing for sleep each night, maybe in another video. And I did that for 6 months, pretty much every night, and sometimes multiple times if I was waking up in the middle of the night from downloads or other stuff happening. But it always felt a little clunky. Like it didn't seem like the blue flame wanted to rise up from the ground and come through my feet in that way. And then I started channeling meditations. I was working with a group of beautiful, beautiful women in a year-long program, and one of the things that happened around the time of the eclipse vortex in May of 2021 was I was invited to create a practice, and the way that it came through was as a frequency meditation, and then all of a sudden blah 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 frequency meditation started coming, and there was this entire blue flame aspect to it. It was very loud. you're working with the blue flame, I started to understand that it was not something that was coming from the ground up. It was not even anchored on the earth plane, etherically or otherwise, at this point. Although I did find out something very interesting about the first Dakina temple in Nepal, that apparently at this temple you go through this like dark, dank cave structure with tarantulas and vipers and everything, and when you get out to the other side, there is a blue flame that emits from the earth. I'm gonna have to look more into that, but that was something that I discovered today when I was on my walk. It's funny how if you just stay open, there's so much information that's going to come your way. Okay, sorry. The blue flame started to tell me, or my guide started to tell me, however it was, I started to channel the information and receive that it is not something that is on the earth plane. It does not exist in the earthly realm yet, in our current time dimensional understanding. It does, however, exist within the deepest part of your heart chakra, the place where your heart chakra connects to all of your other chakras, is the way that it came in. It's this like, and I talked about that a little bit in the Turtle Power Blue Flame Oracle read. You can check that out if you want to. I'll put a clip, a link to it with this video. It then came in that not only does it exist in our hearts, but there are those of us who have contracted in to help anchor it onto the earth plane, that we are elevating, evolving as a species to a high enough frequency, and there are enough of us now who live in the deep enough aspects of our heart that are holding unconditional love at a high enough level. I think my cat's about to jump up here. That it can be anchored onto the earth plane. And this is something that's going to take a very long time. We're kind of this like front lines. We're the seeding, the primer to help this happen. And it is part of the whole process of the, it's a lot of names get thrown around, like new golden age or birthing of a new earth, 5D, 7D reality, however you want to look at it. We're at a place now where, that's Poppy, we can begin to see the path that lies ahead of us. As this happened, as I was starting to learn more about being an anchor, the first blue flame meditation came through, and that was the blue flame activation meditation, and I'll put a link to that as well. And as I continued now calling the blue flame not up from the ground as I had been trying to, but from within my heart, allowing it to move through my heart and to kind of go through my body in that way and down from the dimensional plane where it does currently exist, which feels like the serious dimensional plane to me. I think that it gets a little complicated, but it does resonate. Sirius is at a dimensional frequency where it does resonate. I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole on it, but it felt like it was really important to share just a little bit. There's a lot more in the frequency transmission that I facilitated on Ostara on the equinox, March 20th. And you can access that through becoming a member of the Blue Flame Apothecary, or you can buy just that frequency program on its own in the shop. I think that's it for now. I love you so much, and thank you for spending some time with me.